A lot of times the data companies are selling to the sales force. They're solving a problem for the sales force, but they're creating massive problems for the people on the other end of the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you guys care about both sides. And that's the thing is like, it's not about, it's great you have a big list and access to a ton of data, but like you guys are in the business of conversions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, and that's why I love working with Jim is not, everybody that says they're in this business, they sell a commodity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all the same stuff, but people are going to use this in different ways. And Jim's great at bringing in, hey, this is what this company does. Okay. This is what their unique fingerprint is. Mm-hmm. This is how they're going to use it. So how can we match them up with the right information and fit in instead of making them change what they do? Now, there's some clients that need to change what they do just because it's not effective. But for the most part, we deal with successful businesses. Success leaves clues, right? And, so we don't want to disrupt their operations. We want to make sure that we're the vendor that picks up the phone. We understand what their business does. We're capable of abstract thought, and we're able to get them what they need.
So listen, because these are very ethical gentlemen here, he's not going to tell you what the competition's doing wrong. He's going to tell you what they're doing right. And that lets you know what everybody else is pretty much doing wrong, right? So, because it is. The guy that first introduced me to, hey, man, we can buy data and you can, have people to call. You can have people that said they needed this. You can call them and try to solve their problem. It was he used to say that the lead business was like the Wild Wild West. There was no regulations. It was pretty much just like, and even then, it was like, hey man, when you get this phone number, you call it 3 times in a row. Like you blow that phone up until you're told no. And then, and a lot of people aren't comfortable doing that. And that turns into another problem, which is a whole bunch of abandoned data and stuff, which is like the most common thing that I see all the time, which we'll get into. But like, Clayton, you're very passionate about this stuff.
Love it.
Like, and again, I don't know who else I'd want in my corner if they're not passionate about what they do, which it's rare to be passionate about something like this. But that just means that, to me, it means you're a really smart guy because you know that this is the foundation of all business development and revenue, right? So what's the biggest thing that you want to do, Clayton? This is a little bit of a loaded question. So what's the biggest thing that you're wanting to accomplish here? Because you could have done it the way everybody else does it. You could have even done it with them, and you would have lost sleep. But outside of that, you would have spent way less time doing what you're doing to do the same thing. What is your actual goal with doing this with Jim? And how, I feel like you guys are going to change the industry a little bit.
Well, let's hope. When Jim came to me and said, hey, we're seeing everybody needs leads, everyone needs data, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, well, we can solve that problem, but if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Okay. Because, I own 2 high-end call centers that, their whole business was based on quality, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we did. It was quality leads, quality appointments, that kind of stuff. So I laid it out with Jim. Here's what we got to do if we're going to be in this business. If this is going to be a part of sense development, then we need to do these things and we need to be different. At the end of the day, everybody has about the same information. Mm-hmm. We like to say, and this is true, we get it right from the source. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our competitors, they aren't even marketing this data to people for another couple of months because they don't have it yet. Right. Yeah.
That's huge.
Well, and that gives us a little bit of time to be able to do the right things and come up with unique solutions. We had somebody call us the other day and, they thought they wanted leads and they do, but really, they may need a meta audience. We could put that together for them. Or, we learned that the biggest insurer in Illinois decided to stop operations. So there's 250,000 people that don't have insurance now. So I can pull together lists of group insurance in that area if you want to hit them today, and I can have that to you in the evening. These are businesses, that buy group insurance. They're in Central Illinois, so they definitely have XYZ company. Yeah. Right. And they are not going to have insurance on January 1st.
Yeah. You guys are, I feel like you guys are more of a data source not only are you a source, but like I feel like you guys, when I'm working with you guys, I feel like I'm starting to. If I didn't have a target, I'm really starting to set one.
Well, and that's a big piece of it because, a couple calls we've been on, we ask what their avatar is. Who are you trying to market to? What does your best customer look like? And they'll give some generalities. They'll give a range like 45 to 75, and in this part of the country, and that's kind of it. And we want to know more specifically, like dive further into that, because we can always zoom back out some, but I can't zoom in if you haven't really been specific about that, who that is. Mm-hmm. And our very first client for data, I remember the morning of, everything goes out, the call center starts getting calls, and you were part of that conversation because there was a little bit of a, hey, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. And just out of, the way we've been conditioned for 45 plus years, when somebody says something like that, you assume something's wrong. Mm-hmm. So we jump on a call, and it's the call center going, what did you change? Because everybody that has called today has been qualified, and that doesn't happen.
That's right.
So the thing that I think we look at is, how can we deliver a data experience that is better? None of them are going to be perfect.
Sure.
Because somebody could absolutely be in the market for what you're selling, but they had something happen this morning that derailed their train of thought. Mm-hmm. They took their car in to drop it off at a body shop.
Yep.
And it derailed what they thought their day was going to look like. And so today they're not a buyer, but really they are. Mm-hmm. So data is never going to be perfect, but how can we best align the person that needs the data in volume? I want to be very specific. We're not a little boutique where you buy 10 leads, that kind of thing. We do real volume, but very targeted.
Mm-hmm. Clayton, let's talk about volume and why volume is important, especially, especially for the, maybe not the size of the business you are today, but the size of the business you're growing to, right? So talk to me a little about when he says volume, what numbers are we kind of talking here?
Well, you mean as far as leads are concerned?
Yeah.
On our league programs, I mean, if you're talking health insurance or health and life insurance, we're going to generate 2 million a month. I mean, 2 million leads. And a lot of these are age leads or fall on the floor leads. But, to Jim's point, they'll come to us and they'll say, yeah, I need some leads, 40 to 70 years old or whatever. And then once we talk to them, we figure out they need dog owners that live on the left side of the street and listen to Pavarotti. Yep. Well, we can do that, because we have enough information to be able to pull it together and not resell it a million times.
That's what I'm talking about.
This data has been sold back and forth. These aren't going to be the only people that followed up with them, but they're going to be we only sell them once.
So let's make sure everybody understands, because what you just said is extremely important, right? So Nick Hyder could go and fill out a form and immediately go and fill out, 3 URLs later, 3 web pages later, fill out another form.
Yeah.
Right. And that means that so I became 2 leads at that point. And would that be fair to say? I want to make sure people, I want to go straight kindergarten level here.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the most people are just absolutely misinformed when it comes to this stuff, or they're not informed at all.
Right.
Right. So I'm in my mind, sorry, Pop, I'm thinking about old 75-year-old Mickey Hyder here, and how he's done great in the world of baseball with lists, right? And before, when he was in the music business, he had a Rolodex that sat on his desk. That was his master list. That was you know what I'm saying? So Clayton, I want to talk a little bit about when you say, somebody became a lead.
Right.
And, so how could Nick Hyder be sold multiple times today?
Well, okay. So here's kind of the life cycle, right? You go out and you show that you have an intention of interest in something, right? And then that lead is sold either as an exclusive or as a premium fresh lead for high dollar, right? And the amount of people it's sold to, that's what they call legs. All right. So how many legs does this lead have? And they get calls or whatever it is, but they don't end up buying for whatever reason. those are now kind of what they call age leads or fall on the floor leads. Fall on the floor leads are ones that weren't sold. Okay. For whatever reason, you may have somebody they're marketing in an area and they're buying 100 leads a week or something, and they generate 102.
Okay.
You know what I mean? What happens to those other two? You know what I mean? And that's where the real money is. Then you take that information, those age leads, which for us, age leads aren't what our competitors are. Our competitors' age leads are 86 days old or something like that. We're talking about 0 to 60 days. We still call them age because, that's how we obtain them.
They're not present. If they're 1 day old, you consider it aged.
We consider it aged
because they aged a day.
That's right.
Makes sense.
Well, ethically, we never want to overrepresent. We want to state exactly what it is.
Love it.
Because we're in a world where the definition matters, right?
Right.
I can call something, you can call it something, and we could mean two totally different things.
Yes, that's what we're doing today.
Right. Well, we can take it as far as our customers need to go. I mean, if they're looking for preset appointments, we'll figure that out. We know how to do it. Okay. We know how to generate the campaigns. We know how to walk them through it so they can do it themselves. We can do it for them, whatever it is. But most of our clients are successful because they make those bulk plays.
All right, so I'm going to really give a horrible analogy here. Let's see if it works, though. It might. So, like, what you guys are basically telling me, because again, it's targeting. So, I was having a conversation about literally yesterday, and it was like, man, it's sometimes, our expectations aren't really realistic, right? How many other guys did my wife have to vet out before she found old Nick over here? You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
right.
and vice versa. So, it took some time of getting to know that person to figure out that's not who I want to be with for the rest of my life, right? That's not
right.
That's not what I'm looking for. So at the end of the day, every other dude that she went on a date with was just a lead. That's right. They could just be a lead. And guess what? The lead might not have showed up for the day. It could have been a no-show, right? And then you could have got there and the lead's like, I'm not that person at all. You know what I mean? That's not who I'm. At the end of the day, that's kind of what's happening. But what you guys are doing is you're shortening that cycle. I don't have to go on so many dates to find the right girl, because now through a relationship with you guys, the more we get to know each other, more and more what I'm looking for. So now you're putting me more beautiful women that are of my liking. You're giving me more choices of those versus the ones I'm like, wow, she's 3 feet taller than me and I'm not into that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not what I'm looking for today. So how was that analogy? Was that good?
Well, I'm going to add on to your analogy.
I'm going to add on to his.
Oh, let's go.
So what we do in data is the equivalent of Nick is trying to find Rhiannon in the 1905
the 1900s
era. So you've got to walk or take a horse to go meet a girl, much less to find Rhiannon, right? We are shortening that window to Tinder.
There it is.
So because of the volume of data, think of if you were in 1905, how hard would it be to find 50 available, eligible girls that you would want to vet?
That's right.
Fast forward to now where they're at your fingertips. And that's really what we do, because we bring so much volume to the table that we can make those matches faster.
Oh, that's it. So Clayton, basically, like a long time ago, there wasn't enough choices. Like the choices weren't so accessible at the same time, and now there's so many darn choices that we don't know what to do with it, and we can't even really truly like vet the choices. So now, basically, you guys I can line up 10,000 women in front of me, and I got 30 minutes to pick the right one. Obviously, I'm not going to get to all of them, right? But you could say, talk to these 40.
We can help you get it down. Yeah, before you even start. Now, you've got to have enough information to be able to do that. And, if you get into the mindset of any lead seller, lead dealer, whatever you want to call them, data broker, their goal in life is to sell as many records as possible.
Yep.
Right? So what they're going to do is they're just going to, as broad as you can go, I don't want any detail at all. You know what I mean? Just tell me what you want and I'll give it to you. Okay. And the more you ask and the more you tell them about your business and all those things, is it helping their business? And we've set up our model so that we have skin in the game. We have a stake in the outcome.
Yeah.
We need to get them the right stuff. And we have enough information where it doesn't kill the volume.
You know, Derek Jeter said that trust and loyalty one direction is stupid. It's got to go both ways.
Got to go both ways.
And that's so like I'm finally like spending this time together is huge, even just for me, because I know like you just when you know something is extremely unique and special, but like how do you like if you haven't seen it before, it takes a minute to understand what you're looking at and how to describe it, right? So every other person I've ever worked with in this space was extremely transactional. As a matter of fact, the moment that I paid them for the data they gave me, the relationship, the transaction ended, and that was basically it. You guys are about the relationship, not the transaction, which is how I like to operate, right, Jim?
That's right. Well, you know, and I've said this before, sitting in that seat is my favorite space to be in is where I'm both being selfish and unselfish at the same time with the same answer. And so for us, it is very self-serving that we do take such great care of our clients, because I don't just want their business. I want them to be so fired up that they can't shut up about it, and they send me the referrals.
Bang,
and
bang.
then they look like heroes again because they introduced me, and now I'm helping somebody else because now we're bringing them back to the table and going, okay, who's your ideal client? What does that look like? Be very specific. And, you know, everybody has been kind of trained over the last, I don't know, 20 years to expect less and less and less service. And that's not us by design. Right. We don't want customers that we don't want to run into, you know, on the street.
That's right.
We want to run into them on the street and them go, oh my gosh.
That's right.
You changed my world. That's what we're looking for.